Welcome to today's live reading of Remember His Name by Laurencia Hoffman. The table seats 8, and each chair is occupied. My father sits at one end, and I am at the other. My mother won't be joining us. She isn't feeling well. Sometimes I wonder if that's an excuse to avoid the men at the table. I don't like being around them either. All dressed in suits, hair slicked back, eyes dark and empty, they seem almost inhuman. My senses tell me they are selfish, mean, and greedy. I want to go back to my room, take off my suit, and play with the few toys I've been allowed to keep. Dinner parties are a monthly ritual, and the only thing I like about them is that my father orders food. My mother isn't forced to cook for a table of people she wants nothing to do with. Legs swinging back and forth in my seat, I eat my meal in silence, pretending to follow my father's conversations. I'm far more interested in reading these men than listening to them. My foot bumps the leg of the man on my right, and I immediately cease all movement. I'm worried that I might be in trouble. Sorry. The man, whose name I think is Stephen, smiles at me. Do you want to be like your father when you grow up, Red? Suddenly, they're all looking at me. I shift in my seat, feeling compelled to tell the truth, but knowing I will be punished if I do. Yes? Are you going to take over the company someday? I don't know exactly what my father does, though I am told I am mature for my age. I know how little about his work other than what I see. He signs contracts, attends big parties, and neglects me and my mother. But I can't mention any of that. Maybe. A quick glance toward my father's disapproving gaze gives me the impression that I hadn't answered correctly. Yes, sir. Stephen continuously tries to engage me in conversation, but he's talking to me like I'm an adult. I'm only 8 years old, so I have no interest in speaking to him. I can't even look him in the eye. The scuff of a chair and my father's stern voice has me retreating to the kitchen. I can hear conversation continuing as he closes the kitchen door and corners me against the counter. What's the matter with you? You're embarrassing me. I'm sorry, Dad, I answer with a shrug. I don't like his energy. My father's jaw clenches. I told you to stop using words like that. Gaze downcast, I mumble. I don't know what else to call it. Don't call it anything. Ignore it. I've tried, but it doesn't work. Then try harder. Pressing his hand to the kitchen door, he turns back to face me. I don't want to hear another word about it. I nod and follow my father back into the dining area. Stephen welcomes me with a smile that sends shivers down my spine. I can't wait to go to bed, where I will be alone, away from the varying personalities at the table. The longer I sit here, the more tired I feel, as if every one of them is stealing a small piece of my soul. Crouched on the hardwood floor, the bruises on my legs pressed together, making my nose scrunch at the discomfort. I know if my father hears me, he'll add more bruises to the collection, but I can't help listening to the conversation happening on the other side of the door. They're talking about business. My father, some voices I don't recognize, and Stephen, the man who has gone out of his way to be nice to me. To anyone else, he's just being polite, trying to make the only child at my father's infamous dinners feel welcome. I know his real intentions toward me. I can feel them. Hear his thoughts as if they're my own. He's trying to gain my trust before cornering me in a room and continuing the ritual of what he's done to almost every child he's come across. But because I know what's coming, I have an advantage the others did not. My only hope is that someone will listen to me and stop it from happening to more children. Their negotiations are coming to a close. I can understand every word they're saying because my father's been prepping me to take over the business since I was 3 years old. Getting up from the floor, I sit at the table, pretending as though I've been doing my homework the entire time out. The doors open and the men file out, each of them giving me a nod and greeting, except for Stephen, who smiles and waves. My father sees them out the door, and I wait for him to return to the dining room before hopping out of my chair. Dad, I have to tell you something. He turns on his heels with a scowl. If this is about your feelings, I don't want to hear it. But it's really important. As he walks away, I follow. You shouldn't sign that contract. Don't do that deal. Not with Stephen. Not with his company. Turning to me once more, he shoots me a glare. Why not? Because he's... I look over my shoulder just to make sure our guests have actually left. He's not a good person, and when people find that out, he's going to lose his company. I know that you are trying to enter this partnership to save your company, and... What do you have against Steven? He's been nothing but nice to you. I know, but I think he likes children. Of course he likes children. He has a daughter at home. My stomach churns at that thought. No, Dad, I think he likes children. A hard smack is delivered to my cheek, nearly knocking me over. I can feel the heat from the force of his hand, and I rub the spot to lessen the sting. I can see the regret in his gaze, but it's not because he's sorry. He's worried about leaving visible marks. That's enough, Ren, he speaks through gritted teeth. You're not going to ruin this for me. I'm not trying to ruin anything. I fail to look at him, and my gaze focused on my shoes. I'm trying to help you, Dad. Did your mother put you up to this? She did, didn't she? Shaking his head. He walks towards the doorway. We need this gosh damn merger if we want to keep living in this house. This is some ploy to get me from working so much. I know the two of you have discussed it. I think about a response, but know nothing that I say will matter. Stay out of my business. My father steps into the next room before hissing, and stop encouraging your mother's delusions. The door is closed, separating us. I lean against them, trying to wipe away my tears, but I can't keep up with them. My mother seems like a mythical creature. Sometimes, one moment she's there, and the next she isn't, and I never know when I'm going to see her again. I wonder if she knows what happens when she's not looking. Father doesn't lay a hand on me when she's around. I think she's the only thing that makes him happy. But I know better than to think he's not hitting her too. That because I haven't seen it doesn't mean it's not happening. And she's always so sad. Nothing makes her happy. Not me, not my father, not our money, our house, or any of our belongings. When she is home, she looks sick, though not necessarily in the physical sense. I see the pill bottles lying on her bedside table, and the alcohol she shouldn't be chasing them with. Is it my father's doing, or is her decision to block out the world, to shut me out? I'm about to turn away from the doorway when I hear her voice. It's all right. I'm awake. Cautiously, I approach the bed. Sorry, I didn't mean to disturb you. Disturb me? Come here, my darling. She motions for me to join her on the bed. Why would you think that? I look over my shoulder to make sure Father isn't standing there before climbing onto the bed. Dad says I need to let you rest. I don't need rest. I need to see you. She pulls me into a hug and kisses the top of my head. Did you miss me? Lots. I cautiously wrap my arms around her, always worried that my affection isn't wanted. That's what my father tells me. Are you going to be home for a while? I hope so. We sit there for a moment, basking in the silence of our comfort. I know it's wrong, but I find myself wishing that it could just be the two of us forever. No moment is calm with Father. I'm always on edge. With Mother, I feel wanted and grounded, but she's hardly ever here. Ren, I want to ask you something. There's a long pause. Do you see things? I shift uncomfortably. We haven't talked about this before. What kind of things? Things that might scare you? Maybe things that aren't there? I know what hallucinations are. Is that what she's asking? I don't see things, but I feel them. Her fingers comb through my hair as she asks, What do you feel, my darling? Emotions, I guess. Ones that don't belong to me. Sometimes I see, hear, and feel things that other people are going through. Pulling back, I tuck myself against the pillows. Ryan in my English class, his brother is really sick and he was crying the other day, so I started crying too. I could feel his emotions like I was going through it myself. The look on her face is one of concern, and that makes me feel uneasy. Does that sound strange? I suppose it is strange, but I'm not surprised. I used to be the same way. Mother gestures to the pill bottles beside her, before all of this. My lips purse. This is my mother. She deserves to be spoken to with respect and compassion. But what can I say when I don't understand her? Why are you doing that, Mom? Is Dad making you? I know he doesn't like it when I talk about my feelings. It's my choice to take them. Yes, he made the suggestion, but he's not forcing them down my throat. I've come to accept this isn't something to be celebrated, Ren. We're sick. She taps her forehead. Here. It's a mental illness, but it can be managed. I furrow my brow, refusing to accept that. Everything I've said and felt has been accurate. If it was all wrong, I could see why Father might think I'm insane. But if I'm right, doesn't that mean I'm gifted? I think you're both wrong. I would never say that to him, but Mother has never raised a hand to me, so I know that I can speak my mind. We're not crazy, Mom. She offers a small smile, hand running through my hair. Maybe not, little one, but even if what we see, hear, and feel does turn out to be true, it will still drive us mad. It's a burden to know the things we do. This doesn't make me feel better. Neither parent has made me feel safe. How am I supposed to talk to two people who think I'm sick? It doesn't make me a bad person. I know that. But I feel so strongly that I'm not sick in the mind as they'd have me believe. But that's the kind of thing a sick person would think. Maybe it's true. I don't know what to believe anymore. Mother and Father want me to make friends. People at school are talking about me. I guess it makes everyone uncomfortable that I prefer to be alone, that I'm quiet. The thing is, I don't like the people I'm forced to be around. Not everyone is bad, but all the kids at my school have rich parents. Just like me, they're mean and spoiled. 3 kids in the whole school are being bullied, and I'm one of the unlucky few. I refuse to fall in with the crowd, to go along with it just to fit in. Today couldn't be avoided. Father practically threw me out of the house. I've been following the pack. I call them that because I've likened them to wolves. For an hour now, feet sore from the rocky path we've taken. All I want to do is turn around and go home. They stop, and I'm out of breath, turning to the pond while the others focus their attention on a bush. What's the matter, Wren? They call to me. Can't keep up. With a roll of my eyes, I trudge towards the shrubbery, gaze soon settling on the subject of their interest. It's a mother duck nesting with her eggs. It's one of the sweetest things I've seen in a long time. Let's leave her to it, I insist. The other boys snicker. Do you think she'll protect them with her life? The question prompts my features to twist in the audacity of the question. Why had they asked it? Let's hope it never comes to that. A fist is thrust against my gut, and I hunch over, the wind having been knocked from my lungs. Shut up, you little dweeb, one boy sneered. I can't believe our parents made us hang out with you. Before I even have the chance to stand up straight, one of them is pushing the duck off its nest, and she protests by flapping her wings and squawking. Leave them alone, I beg. They each take an egg, some stopping them and others throwing them like a baseball, causing them to hit the ground with such force that they splatter on the dirt. They're laughing. This is a game to them. This is their idea of fun. For a moment, I consider hitting any one of them that I can manage, but the idea is fleeting. I can't cause harm. If I try to fight them, it makes me as bad as they are. The mother duck is still making frantic noises. Tears are streaming down my cheeks as I watch in horror. I can't imagine how confused she must be, how terrified she must feel. There are only 2 legs left in the nest, and if I don't do something, they'll all be gone. Enough, I shout, getting their attention. If you don't stop this right now, I'm going to tell the principal and our parents. Go ahead, crybaby, the largest of the group shouts back. We'll tell everyone you did it. Another punch is delivered, this time to my lip. I can feel the skin break and blood trickle, but my only focus is that nest. Throwing myself on top of it, I hover inches above the remaining eggs, shielding them as the other boys stomp on my hands, kick dirt into my eyes, and dig their elbows into my spine. It hurts, but my will to save them is stronger than the pain. It only lasts for a few minutes, but I'm shaking as bad as the mother duck. We'd better get back, one of them says. We'll get in trouble if we're late. What about him? Another gestures in my direction. Who cares? First replies. Maybe if we're lucky, some creep will snatch him up and we'll never have to see him again. Even though my body is ready to give out, I hold my position until the voices are far enough in the distance that I'm certain they won't turn back. Getting up slowly, I look down at the nest, heart pounding, afraid that I may have smashed the unborn babies in my effort to protect them. But they're safe, unaware their siblings have been slaughtered. Raising my head, I gaze at the carnage, choking back a sob. I back away from the nest, raising my arms to show the mother I mean no harm. It's okay. I won't hurt you. She doesn't believe me, and I don't blame her. Wiping the tears on my sleeve, I take a deep breath. I'm sorry I wasn't brave. I should have done something more. I should have been able to stop it. Slowly, the mother checks on the 2 eggs before settling on top of them. I don't want her having to stare at the smashed remnants of her children, so I dig a hole in the dirt behind the bush, collecting the tiny bodies along with their shells, and bury them. It's hard to catch my breath. I don't know how I'm going to sleep tonight, or ever again, knowing what happened here. I'm sorry, I whispered to life that was never given a chance. I failed you.